Well, hello and welcome to Today We Dominate. We're here to help you master your present so that you can dominate your future. Today's guest is the newest member of the Arkansas Razorbacks, one of the most elite baseball programs in the country. Before arriving in Fayetteville, he put together one of the most impressive careers at Missouri State baseball history in over 161 games. I think he started 160 of them. Holy crap. He batted .292, smashed 44 home runs, drove in 147 RBIs, finished with a .567 slugging percentage, .373 on base percentage, .940 OPS. He was also a two-time MVC Player of the Week, two-time MVC Scholar Athlete second team, two-time All-MVC second team, perfect game freshman All-American second team, collegiate baseball freshman All-American, six-time athletic director honor roll, two-time MVC honor roll, and the list goes on and on and on. Welcome in the newest Arkansas Razorback baseball player, Zack Stewart. Hey, man, so excited. I'm so thankful that you're going to spend some time with me today. How is all the preparation going for you?
It's been going really good. Staying here, kind of training so far. I got to work out in Springfield a little bit as well. I worked on the grounds crew, surprisingly, but it was a good time down there.
Yeah, good. Oh man, I'm so excited for where you're heading. You've done a lot here with the Missouri State Bears. Now you get to take your talent down to Arkansas. How does it feel to know that you're heading to one of the top programs in the nation?
Oh, it's real neat. I mean, obviously, it's a big step for me. I feel like I think it's a good opportunity. Lots of things kind of look forward to down there, but I'm really pumped to head down there.
Awesome. Well, I have a couple questions for you aside from baseball. One of the main reasons that I wanted to interview you on the podcast was because of the presence that you bring onto the field. As you know, I'm a certified mental performance coach. So I'm always watching players on both teams, looking at their energy, how they are as a teammate, how they recover from failure. And the one thing I notice about you, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, is that you always have a smile on your face. You're always so kind to everybody. But the other thing that I really like is that, and we'll talk about a little slump that you had this year with Missouri State. No matter where you were at, I always saw you in the dugout bringing the damn juice to your players. So no matter what was going on, you were in there cheering, high-fiving, big smile on your face. And even aside from that, anybody that I've talked to within the media, within Springfield Cardinals, everyone say so many great things about you and who you are as a person. So my question is, where does this joy come from?
Oh boy. So I think the biggest thing is obviously just enjoying the moment. I mean, I get to do something not a lot of people get to do or get to experience in life. So knowing that and just knowing that in the back of your mind before you go about it every day, I think helps out a ton. I enjoy being on the field. I enjoy getting to do what I love. And then obviously, I mean, the opportunity I get to have playing Division I baseball is just surreal. I mean, I get to really enjoy, whereas a lot of people don't. So, why not have a smile on your face every day?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the statistic? It's like 7% of any high school baseball player actually gets to play collegiate baseball no matter what level, and an even smaller percentage, I want to say it was 2 or 3% get to the D1 level. So you're absolutely right that you enjoy that. Is that one of those things that during those hard times you just kind of remind yourself of? You go out and just kind of take a deep breath when you look at the field and say, "Holy crap, I get to do this."
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember every time I walked out to the field, walking from our clubhouse down the warning track line, I look at the field and I'm like, man, I get to do this. I mean, it's surreal. I mean, it really is. I mean, I get to enjoy it. I have a fun time playing baseball, obviously. I mean, I've done it for so long. But those things you just kind of look at and you're like, I'm here. I get to do that.
Yeah, and especially in a field like Hammond's Field, I've seen some of the baseball fields around the MVC, and especially obviously with Murray State going into the College World Series final, and you see their field. Like this program is really, really blessed to be able to have a field like Hammond's Field, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I mean the facilities there that they get to use are top tier. I mean you wouldn't see it at some SEC schools. I mean they got that much stuff there, and I think it's something that Missouri State has and they'll always have. It's a good program. I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, they're starting to make some damage too. They're starting to get recognized more and more. And you just had two guys that were drafted. Who was it? Nick Rodriguez and was it Jake McCutcheon? I think
Yep, both of
one
those
after the other, which is really, really funny. But I mean, this program has that potential to produce major leaguers, don't you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, they've done it before. They got Ryan Howard, Jake
Yep.
Berger, guys like that. I mean,
Of course,
they can
Ryan
do it.
Howard, I'm a small fan of.
They can do it at that level. They can do it at any level. I mean, they're
Yeah,
they're a good squad, good program, good staff. I mean, I enjoyed my time there. So
awesome. So good. Well, let's rewind for a second before we even think about Missouri State and before we even think about Arkansas. I'm really curious, how did you get involved in baseball and when did you realize that you may actually have the talent to play D1 baseball?
So I got involved in baseball. I guess my dad went to Missouri State, so he
Oh,
kind of
okay.
pushed me at a young age to play. I probably started playing, t-ball like competitively at 4. I
Mhm.
started playing, and then I guess when I really recognized that I could kind of go somewhere, it was probably my freshman year. I got to play varsity. I was fortunate enough to move up to varsity, play with the varsity team here in Lebanon. And then that summer, I kind of got recognized a lot, kind of talked to some colleges. Missouri State was one of them. But that really kind of made it real for me that, oh, I can kind of make a kind of a career out of this.
That's awesome. So, what other schools did you have offers from that you were highly considering aside from Missouri State?
So it was Mizzou and Missouri State. Those were the two guys.
Okay.
Funny enough, I talked to Arkansas a little bit. I got to go down there on a camp, talk to the coaching staff a little bit, but never went to that. It was between Mizzou and Missouri State, and then obviously at the end of the day, I mean Missouri State with G and everybody there. It was
Yeah.
kind of it was definitely the right choice for me, and I think I go back and look at it all the time, and I have no regrets. It was the best time of my life there. I had a good time.
Who are some of the players that you were the closest with on the team?
So me, Dalen Stewart, I played with Dalen actually back in my 13th year, and all on through there, I got to play with him and everything. So that's one of my best friends. I roomed with him and everything. Actually, just went on a trip with him. So we
Nice.
we are really tight. We're a good duo right there. And then Tag Gollert, Tyler Charlton, Carter Bergman, all those guys, Jake McCutcheon even. I'm really tight with all those guys, kind of the guys I came in, I roomed with in the dorm,
Yeah.
but really tight with those guys and definitely have friendships for life with them.
Yeah, and talk about excuse me, talk about culture a little bit as well. What was it about that Missouri State culture that had you end up having so many good friends? Because a lot of times on teams, yes, you're a brotherhood, but there's usually like one or two that you get along with. You sound like you were best friends with the majority of the team. What is it about that culture that created that for you guys?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they establish it pretty early. I mean, not bringing in as many people. The people they bring in are the people you're going to be with the whole year. Whereas a lot of teams, you can't say that. I mean, they bring in a ton, then they cut.
Yeah,
But Missouri State, they bring in just what they need, and you get tight with those guys, and then obviously those guys that I just mentioned, I played with, for many years. 3 years for a lot of them, and then Dalen, obviously, I played with him forever. So just having that kind of together and that camaraderie
yeah,
is really big. I really enjoy that.
awesome. So you started to realize that you had D1 talent. Mizzou came to you, Missouri State to you. Came to you when you started to either prepare or you were actually in college baseball. When did the mental side come into you that you realized, oh my gosh, I've really got to take this seriously?
Yeah, I would say honestly, my senior year. That was the biggest thing for me in high school. So basically, I ended up, having a little bit of recognition, possibly, draft for my senior year, and a lot of that kind of hit me all of a sudden. I was like, oh boy, like there's so much stuff going on, and then, looking at that kind of overwhelms you in a way. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play your game, give yourself the freedom to play your own game. And that was kind of the biggest realization that I need to take care of that stuff as well. That's just another skill that I got to add.
Yep. And I think that's one thing that I notice, even on the D1 levels, you guys have sports psychologists on staff that they're more on the mental health side, which obviously directly affects the playing side. But you guys are also working with the sports psychologist from the Texas Rangers. I'm curious about how he's been able to help you through your 3 years at Missouri State and where you've seen the biggest change in your mental game.
Oh yeah, so I remember my freshman year. We had a meeting, or I had a one-on-one meeting with him, and we ran it through all this stuff, and what I wanted to do with baseball and all this, and then basically we call it a funnel where all our thoughts, at the top, and it could be pre-pitch, it could be about life, anything, just bringing it down to your one thing, and my one thing is own the moment. That's my biggest thing. I take it down all the way to my bottom line, and that's it. But that was the biggest thing I've learned from him. And I know my freshman year, it was funny. I had the meeting with him. I remember it to this day. And we did all that and went out on the field. We had an inter squad right after, and I think I went like 4 for 5 with a home run. Really
Wow.
good day. But it was a good inter squad. One that I'll always remember because of that. I had that meeting before, and it just helped out a ton. But I have a ton of more moments with him. I know one, for example, I was going through that big slump.
Yep.
Obviously at the beginning of the season. And we sat down the night before, had dinner and everything, talked it all out. We were there for probably 2-3 hours just talking it out. And the next day I ended up hitting the walk-off against Valparaiso.
Nice.
And it was awesome just to see that and to take that serious and then learn stuff. I mean, it's all that.
What piece of advice did he give you that helped you change overnight?
So basically I just let it all out basically. Everything was overwhelming me, just had so much stuff. Obviously my draft year just turned down going pro the year before, like everything was big. And then obviously the biggest thing for me that I took away was, I got to give myself the freedom and trust God. Like that was the two biggest things for me, but giving myself the freedom to play my game, go out there and not worry about anything else, all those other distractions, the traps, everything like that. Just get that out of the way, worry about playing your own game, enjoy it, and get back to me.
Yeah. And during that slump, I'm really curious because obviously me working for ESPN, I worked a lot of those baseball games. So I saw you go through it and I was paying attention to your body language and, you could tell at times there were frustrations. So during the actual drought, not when you fixed it, but from the start of it to just about the end of it, how did you manage your mindset to be able to still walk up to the plate and have that confidence that I know I can do this. It's just, I don't know if maybe you were making good contact and it just wasn't working for you. How did you manage your mindset during that time to keep yourself in the best position to break out of it?
Oh yeah, it was tough. That's for sure. It was one of the toughest things I think I've ever experienced, and the most adversity I've ever experienced. I guess in my 3 years, I never really struggled a whole lot until then. And I think the biggest thing was just going about it every day, and obviously, like we talked about earlier, looking at the field. I get to do this. This is a fun time. So keeping the smile on your face, and then obviously, keeping my funnel.
Yeah.
Keeping that all the way until I walk up to the plate, and then basically still having that confidence. Like I've been here, I've done this, I've been a good player. I am a good player. Like just keeping those mindsets and going to the box, even though it's not going my way and not having good luck, everything not going well. You just got to keep it because eventually it's going to break. I mean, you keep a good mindset, it'll come.
Yeah. And I think it's really important there too, where you talk about, every day is a new opportunity. There's one big thing that I always tell the baseball players that I work with, right, is that within baseball, it is a game of failure. I think more than any other sport out there. And that if you end up failing 7 times out of 10 on average, you could end up being in the Hall of Fame, right? So
Literally.
being able to learn to manage the emotions that go along with it, but then also realize, number one, this is not an outcome-based game. This is a process-based game, right? That you control the controllables. What's in your control versus what's out of your control. Out of your control is the umpire, is the weather, the field conditions, who's on the mound. But what's in your control are your thoughts and your actions. And just knowing that your job is just to make quality contact, right? But even you still can't even control that because if you're going to hit good contact, you could hit a ball right in the spot that you wanted it, but then the shortstop makes a ridiculous play. All you can control is your mindset walking up and making good contact looking for your pitch. So when you were going through all of this, how did you remind yourself moment by moment that that's really the objective?
Oh yeah, I mean, super tough. I mean, it really is. I know I had a few balls that hit to the warning track, caught a few diving plays, hit a ball and the screws right to somebody. I mean, all that adds up, and obviously, you become frustrated. I mean, that's how it is. But the ultimate goal, it's a short term memory game. You gotta scratch that. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do everything right and get out, like you said. But I know one of the games I can take you back is Evansville. I hit 2 balls, probably 105 plus. One was 111, and it's caught at the warning track. I mean, that's how it goes, and it's
Yeah.
tough. It's a tough game, but just remind yourself, that's that abat's over. You can only control what you control, like you said, and then just stay in the moment.
Going along with that question that we're talking about, you gave some great advice there. One of the things that I loved about watching you is you really took the sports psychology side serious when it came to your pre-bat routine. You have one of the most pronounced pre-bat routines that I've ever seen, right? And for people who don't know what the pre-bat routine is, it's your way of getting mentally ready to step into the box and do what you need to do. And one of those ways is what Zack does, having the bat in front of you, looking at a focal spot, stepping in, giving your 3 keys to keep it simple, and then you go. But the interesting thing about you, and I want you to go through this, why is it that you do such a pronounced bring down of the bat? Usually just having a bat in front of you is how it works. But you have this big, round shoulder bringing the bat in. So can you tell me a little bit about why you do that?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing with kind of around your shoulders and everything, we'll get to that. But I really start when I walk into the on deck circle. I do the same thing every time, stretch the same way, squat down, and that's kind of when I tell myself, "It's your time. Let's go." Like just kind of locking in, and then obviously getting the timing down for the pitch, and then whether it's an out made, whatever happens before, walk to the plate the same way, and then about midway through. I'm kind of rounding my shoulders and everything, and then looking at my focal point, which is the light pole above the opposing team's dugout. Every time I look at that as I'm walking around, either the umpire right there or walking straight up to the batter's box, whether what side we're on. But I look right at the light, just kind of a focal point that I do, kind of reset your mind, get you not thinking at all, and then get into the box, dig in 2 times, slide the leg, dig in 2 times at the front, and then I step back, and then that's when I kind of do my around my shoulders, bring the bat down in front of me, and that's kind of where my deep breath takes place. And then I look at the same spot on the bat every time. Now it's different depending on the bat, but my bat had an R kind of closer to my hands, and I looked at the bottom left portion of the R, and I looked at that every time when I took my deep breath, and then that's kind of when I know I'm ready. It's time to go, and then I dig in to the box and I'm ready.
So let's break it down a little bit. So you're walking up, you're looking at the light pole above the dugout of the opposition. What is that doing for you right there?
Right there, it's just kind of clearing my mind. Basically, I'm thinking, oh, I'm looking at the light pole. I'm not thinking about, oh, I got to do
Baseball.
this, I got to do that. There's so many things that you think you got to do, but you just got to clear your mind.
Yeah.
Nothing, the best hitters are reacting, and I think that's a big thing for me. I just react, and so that just kind of helps me clear my mind walking up to the plate.
That's good. Now, when you put your foot into the box and you tap it twice, or you dig in the dirt twice, and then you do it again right after that, what is that doing for you?
I think that's another thing that just helps me clear my mind. A big thing on me is I feel my spikes in the dirt when I do that. So I'm just focusing on that and not anything else.
So it's a present moment focus of
Yeah,
I am where
literally.
my feet are, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm just digging in, feeling the dirt on my spikes. That's all I'm thinking about. All I'm feeling. That's what I'm doing.
Yep. Then you do your round shoulders, you're looking at the bat, and you say you take your deep breath. What is that doing for you?
So for me, it's more of a relaxed thing there. I'm not clearing my mind or anything, just relaxing, being very relaxed in the moment, basically to where I'm going to go own the moment, which that's where I'm bringing my funnel down
Yeah.
to that final thing, own the moment. And as soon as I bring that bat up and I look at the pitcher, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm thinking, own the moment. That's the only thing I will think.
Good. So also, you and I talked about you give yourself 2 keys, right? I always call the 3 keys to keep it simple because that's what Dr. Ken Ravizza, Dr. Harvey Dorfman, some of the most prolific sports psychologists in baseball talk about. You were doing it without actually knowing that it was called the 3 keys to keep it simple, which I thought it was amazing. What do you say to yourself to remind you of how to own the moment there?
So control what you control is a big thing. And then obviously one of my physical cues is, keep my heel on the ground. So I'm thinking that as well, even though I'm not thinking much. That's just the biggest thing in my preparation that kind of carries myself there. So there's many cues that I have, but you're not thinking all those because you can't think about all those because you got a pitch coming in at 90 miles an hour. You can't focus on all of those. But basically that preparation, keeping your heel on the ground, controlling what you can, own the moment, be you, be yourself. That's a big thing for me. That's I always, you be you, basically is a way. And that's a funny thing is my high school coach actually would be down at third base, and it'd be a big moment in the game. He's like, "You be you,"
Yep.
and then he'll text me still to this day, and it's just U, B, and a U. That's it. 3 letters.
Nice.
He'll just send it to me randomly, and that's a big thing for me.
Yeah. And then at one point I talked to after a game, and when we were talking about the 3 keys, there were 2 of them that you used that were the same ones I believe that Sean Casey uses. And for anybody watching doesn't know who Sean Casey is, was a career 302 batter Hall of Famer, unreal. When he used to have a card in his back pocket that he would read in the dugout, on the on deck circle, and then when he was in the batter's box, and it said, "See the ball, be easy, hammer it." Right? Because that was his 3 keys that every time he was at bat, he reminded himself that that's what he was there to do. And you had mentioned, I think 2 of them were 2 of the ones that you also said at some point. Am I correct or am I incorrect on that?
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm a big thing on like hit strikes hard. You
Yeah.
know, that's
A power hitter, go figure.
yeah. In simplest terms, I mean that's what you want to do. I mean, if you're swinging at something outside of the zone, then it's not good. So make sure it's in kind of your kill zone, what you're looking for, and then hit those strikes hard. That's a big
Yeah.
thing.
When did you remind yourself of those 2?
So basically, it just kind of happens randomly throughout the at bat. You
Okay.
may chase, you may do something like that, and that basically goes back to your funnel. So like right at the top, I'm like, all right, not on time,
Yeah.
something like that. It can be easy as that, and then hit strikes hard on the moment, back to it. You got to get back to that same mindset because if you don't, I mean, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff right there. Now, of course, that's your pre-bat routine. Do you have a release routine when you just see, and for those that are watching, we always talk about mindsets like a stoplight, right? When you're in a green light, you're focused, like Zach's talking about, you're in the moment, owning the moment, not thinking. Yellow light means you find that you're starting to go a little out of control in your mind. And then red light is that you're pissed off, you've lost it, and it's really hard to focus back into the at bat when maybe there's a bad call or bad play or something like that. When you were in the middle of your at bats, did you have a release routine when you found that you were starting to go into yellow and red lights?
So I would turn around and look at our dugout's light pole. So I'll turn around, like bad call, bad something, bad swing, whatever. I'll turn around, look at that, deep breath, back into my shoulder roll, look at the bat, the R, like just getting back to it. But I kind of turn around and just kind of more deep breaths, just, oh, you're in control. Like this is your at bat. You're the hitter. It's on you.
Yeah.
So that's just a big thing. I'll turn around and go into that.
Good. So then when you're in the outfield, because you played mostly about right field, if I remember correctly, this past year at least, is that your actual main position? Because you played first base a couple times too, hadn't you?
I played in high school a lot at first base and then shortstop. I played everywhere in high school, but it was mainly right field and left field in college here at Missouri State.
Right. So when you're in the outfield, we know that there's a lot of time to think, right? And that if you're not locked in to when that pitch is going, that split second can mean the difference between getting a ball and fumbling or not even getting close to it, right? So did you have a mental routine before every pitch when you were in the outfield?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for me, I didn't have a specific place in the outfield where I looked, but I would turn around, I would look around, like do that because you can't be locked in. I mean, it's to be
Yeah.
focused 100% of the time, it's impossible for the human body to do. I
Correct.
mean, you'll if you do that, you're drained by, the third inning. I mean, that's just how it is. It's the reality. And then, basically just unlocking and be able to lock back in is the biggest thing. So I'll turn around, I'll be unlocked, like basically not looking around, just enjoying, looking around, oh, Hammond's Field, just
Yeah.
something like that, just I'm there, I'm enjoying it. But turning around and then basically, as soon as the pitcher, either gets back in the stretch, he's ready, or he's on the mound, whatever he's doing, he's on the rubber. If he's on the rubber, that's when I lock in and I'm back. I'm looking at the plate. Like,
Yeah.
you got to get back into that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting because obviously, again, there's so much going on around you. You have people heckling you on one side, you have people cheering you on one side. But when you're in the field, there's a lot of time to think. And one thing that we always teach our baseball players, especially, is the circle of focus, right? Is that you imagine there's a circle in front of you. And when you're in that circle, you're locked in. So you step in, pitches made, calls made, whatever, and then you step out of it and you just let your mind go for a second. Like you said, looking at the crowd, looking at what's going on. Maybe you're thinking about your post game meal, like whatever it is. But when you see that pitcher is set, you step into your imaginary circle of focus because anytime you're in that circle, that's where you're focused on the game. It sounds like you use some version, not necessarily of like the physical circle in front of you, but do you have something where you're just like, okay, 2 feet to the ground in, or are you just kind of staying loose and not necessarily like, locking your body or anything like that?
Yeah, basically when that pitch is on the rubber, I go left, right, and then kind of my pre-pitch,
Good.
thing. I mean, that's just how it is, and then that's what I do. So whenever that pitch is on the rubber, that's when I kind of, like you said, step into that circle. That's what I do. But as soon as that call's made, whatever's done during that at bat, I'm back looking around, just kind of unlocking myself from the moment and not being focused to where I can be focused the rest of the game in the moments that
Right.
matter.
Yeah, that's good. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Arkansas. Obviously, it's one of the top programs in the nation. I think at some point this season, weren't they ranked within the top three? I even think they were number one at one point, weren't they?
I believe they were one. They had a good year this year. I know they were one of the Final Four teams that, and they ended up losing to LSU, which ended up winning the whole thing this year.
Yeah, yeah. That was ridiculous. So being a part of Arkansas, obviously, have you been able to go out there and meet with the guys and hang out with anybody yet, or is this your opportunity coming up in August?
Basically, it's kind of my opportunity coming up. I know I was there on my visit, got to kind of see what the staff is about, got to meet a few guys. Really liked what I saw, and that ultimately what made my decision. It's a great program. I think there's a lot of room to develop in many ways, mental side, physical side, everything in general. I think I can get better there. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what made my decision, because the end goal for me is to obviously go play pro ball and go do the best.
absolutely.
So go to
Good.
do that, and I think that gives me the best opportunity.
So aside from how they're going to prepare you for your opportunity, what excites you about being a part of their culture and program?
Oh yeah, I really want to see what they're about. I'm really interested. I think I told my mom that yesterday. I'm like, I'm really interested to see how they go about it, because they're always a top program. Doesn't matter what year it is, they're always ranked in the top 25. Always are in a regional, and I think I'm really excited to see what their process is like and how they get to that moment every year.
Yeah. So, just to let you know, what I'm planning on doing with this podcast is actually doing Facebook ads over that area. Because what I want to do is take this podcast and put it out there so that they start to get to know you as a player as well. So, here's my question for you. What do you want the fans to know about you before you even step on the field out there?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm a big worker, and I'm gonna do everything I can to do the best I can at that situation. And I know I have a great opportunity around me, and I know I'm gonna take it all in. But I'm gonna enjoy my time there, and basically just I'm real thankful for the opportunity to be down there.
Yeah, and I know you've always been really good with interacting with fans as well. So, everybody out there in Razorback Nation should be excited. You have a quality guy coming your way. So here's a couple questions from our fans. So number one comes from my friend Leslie Callison, who you know and you've sat and talked to a couple times. She wants to know what's going to be different about your preparation going into Arkansas versus your preparation here, or is it just going to be the same thing that you know to do?
I think a lot of it's going to be the same, obviously. I know there's different things that I'll pick up and learn. I think one of the biggest things that'll be different is, whereas I've been at Missouri State for 3 years, I've been pretty comfortable around, all those guys in the program. Really comfortable being around there and doing my thing, doing my work and everything. I think, this year going to a top program and having so many great guys around me, I'm going to be a little uncomfortable. But I think that's a good thing in a way for
Yeah.
me, because it'll push me harder, make me work better,
Yep.
make me basically do whatever I need to do to be on that field and do what I can to win ball games there in Arkansas. So I think that's a big thing for me. I know obviously I had a few visits this year in the transfer portal, and they were the ones that kind of made me, obviously feel comfortable, but it's an uncomfortable way, like I'm going to get better there, and if I don't, then you're not going to play. Like that's just how it is. So I think that's a big thing for me, to be uncomfortable and to have that work ethic going in there.
Yeah, and good for you for having that because I know a lot of athletes don't have that. One of my favorite sports psychologists, and in fact, he's the reason why I got involved. I've been studying sports psychology for 7 years now, and like I said, got certified through Brian Kane. And one of the things he talked about is that's where growth happens, right? When you live just on the edge of your capabilities to where you're really uncomfortable. And I think it's amazing, Zach, that you're taking yourself and purposely putting yourself in that situation because that's how real growth happens. We live just to the tip of what we can handle, but a little bit further than that, because it's going to force us to adapt, force us to do different things. You now have a whole other level of competition coming your way. So I really think that this is a fantastic move for you in several different ways. Obviously, with the draft, you have, Arkansas has put out a lot of players into the draft. So that's another just draft ready training for you. But, I think going out there, that's going to be an unbelievable move for you. Second question comes from ESPN from our director, Brandon Height. Now, for context, you wear eye black that goes around, under, and it kind of comes down into like a point, right? I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So I made the comment one day. I said, he looks like the Ultimate Warrior because you have the hair and the face. So I asked you if that was something that you did on purpose, and you said yes, kind of like the Ultimate Warrior. You started laughing. What Brandon wants to know is if you ever saw the graphics that we used on ESPN comparing you to the Ultimate Warrior.
I did. So funny thing is, I think after it was compared, I had a hard hit, and we have a hard hit reel before our hitters meeting starts, basically just kind of seeing us in successful moments and basically just building that in our brain, like, oh, we can do that. We're there. Like basically just that before another little, mental thing, just kind of preparing us. And funny thing is that one, it was one of the clips. So it had the little graphic there and then me hitting the ball hard. So it's kind of funny. I would see it quite a bit.
That's awesome. And then the third question we have comes from Jeff Richardson. He's the head coach over at Mountain Grove Baseball. He wants to know what your daily routine was like in the off season in high school versus what your daily routine in the off season is in college when it comes to baseball.
So in high school in the fall, obviously, you don't play. I mean, I didn't play my senior year. I didn't play travel ball in the fall. I did, years prior to that. But a big thing for me is I would get done with school and I would go immediately to the cages, and my dad would meet me there. And we would do a whole bunch of training, whether it be, little baseballs we would hit with a stick, hand-eye coordination, just him throwing balls super hard, basically, time reaction drills, building up that were basically fast twitch, you can do that. But we do all that, and then we go to the field, the actual field. We do fly balls, ground balls, because at that time I was an infielder, so I would do ground balls, and then I go to fly balls. I do everything, just kind of building, where I can play any position because versatility is very big here. So I do that, and then after that, I would go to there's a hill actually behind left field at our high school field, and I would run hill sprints, 10 to 12 I would run, and then we'd head home and do there, and then I'd hit a workout that night. So it just kind of depended on the day, but I do 2 workouts a day, one in the morning, then one at night. Just kind of depends, but that was a big thing for me. But my senior year, I think the biggest thing was the nutrition. I was a little chunky, obviously. And I think that was a big thing for me, just kind of down in my nutrition with all that hard work. And I think I saw the most growth, that senior year, from everything from a body perspective wise. But that was kind of my process in high school and what I would go about during the off season. And then obviously to now, kind of the same thing. I'll still go to the cage with my dad. We went actually like 2 days ago, and did that. A little harder now because he has got work and everything during this time. And we don't have all that night to work. But still the same thing. I just got to work out in actually this morning. I'll do that. And then obviously, you got to take care of other stuff like getting the apartment down in Arkansas, but you still got to get your work in. So I'm working around those things to get those things still in, and basically trying to prepare myself to be the best version of me when I get down to Arkansas.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most powerful phrases in mental performance, right? Always trying to be the next best version of me. I know I heard it from Ed Milet, and that changed my whole perspective on everything, personal growth. So you're saying that in high school, it was a lot more fast twitch and quick drills, where in the off season in college, you got to be a little bit more specific because you were specifically in the outfield and specifically, the number 3, number 4, number 5 hitter. So tell me a little bit more about, how that works within college, within your off season. Were you going to different places and doing different drills? Did you feel like there was more of a weight on it because you were in college versus what you did in high school?
Not really a weight. I mean, I think it's just something that I've kind of been born into. I think my dad really forced me early to work super hard. He would get mad at me when I would skip a workout, when I was like 12. And,
Oh,
that's
jeez.
just, yeah, I mean, I can't skip that. And I think now looking back at it, I'm glad he did that because I'm honestly the best version of myself. Like we talked about, I think, that's a big thing for me. I know he pushed me at a young age, and he continues to push me now. He was really happy about my decision, going down to Arkansas. He's really happy for the opportunity to head down there. But I think just those things are a lot. But keeping, your work ethic is a big thing. Obviously, going into the mental side of things, if you do everything and prepare yourself the most you can, you can trust that preparation so far with your mental.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So now we're going to jump into the lightning round. I have a quick seven, 8 questions for you. So the first one, your go-to walk-up song.
Ooh, Home by Good Neighbors. That's been it for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Favorite MLB team.
Ooh, I'd say the Rockies.
Rockies. Interesting answer. Favorite MLB player.
Bryce Harper.
That's right. Favorite post-game meal.
Oh, steak and potatoes. Easy.
Yeah. So who's your biggest role model in baseball?
In baseball, honestly, I'd still say my dad. He played there. He was there. He's made a huge impact on my baseball career.
Good. Any superstitions you have before the games?
I'm not a superstition guy.
You're one of the few.
I know.
And then what's one non-baseball goal you have for your life?
I think obviously continue to be the best version of myself, and then get my degree done and take care of business with that.
Good. Awesome. One final question for you. And this is not in the lightning round, so just a normal question. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to high school kids who have a desire to play college baseball, or if you're even talking to college players who are NAIA, Div 2, Div 3, who want to play Div 1 baseball, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would say be where your feet are. That's a big thing for me. I think I said that last year as well to somebody, but you can only do so much. You can control what you can control, and a big thing is your work ethic. But being where you are and not feeling sorry for yourself where you are, that's a big thing. Just enjoying where you are in life, and basically taking that and working to the best of your ability in that spot in your life.
Awesome. Well, Zach, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're in that crazy period between moving here, moving down to Arkansas. You're preparing for a big season. Just know that all of us at the ESPN group and everybody in Missouri, we're cheering for you down there. We're going to be following what you're doing. We think you're going to be doing big things down there. We're excited to see the impact you're going to make in pro ball as well. We believe in you. We believe you're going to kick ass. And thank you so much for taking the time just to hang out with me.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Had a good time.
Thank you.